Abusua make I say no. Former National Service Boss, Mami Gifty Oware, ne ho akodi nsɛnsɛm ɛne sɛn. Yewura Dr Dominic Ayine akyerɛm sɛ emra maame bɛtena so sɛ National Service ɔpanin no. Ade a EZWITCH sika bɛbro 8.2 million Ghana cedis ɛna nkrɔfo tua egu na account mu. Sɛ kwan bɛn so na fa yɛ bɛgu na account mu. Ɛhe na sika ne free no. Oral ade a wɔn ɛbɛtwe n'ase ɛde n'akɔgyina ase neɛ na saa sika no nyinaa nsɛnea yɛtwe hwene nua ɛyɛ den no wɔn bɛma mmɔden asɛ saa sika no nyinaa wɔn ɛbɛtwe na ɛnɛ da yi ɛna ɛyɛ operation recover all loot oral a ɛyɛ His Excellency General Dominic Ayine mmra n'aban ɛbaa mu wɔyɛ sɛ aban mu adwumayɛfoɔ bi a wɔn abɔ mmɔden afa kwati kwan so awia a wɔn ayɛ Ghana sika ɛde ahyɛ wɔn ho no ade wɔn bɛhwɛ sɛ wɔn bɛgye sɛ sika no nyinaa na wɔn de aboa wɔn ayɛ Ghana na yɛtumi ɛde akɔ anim nti nam so ɛma yɛwura oku gyeto ablakwa na wɔdi wɔn anim ɛne neɛ wɔn tu anamɔ wɔn firi ha na wɔn kɔ ha wɔn wurawura nkorɔfoɔ dɛm ne ade nyinaa make sure sɛ sika biara na aban asase ne aban agyapadeɛ biara wɔn amfo afom sɛ bratɔ no wɔn bɔ mmɔden na wɔn recover ne nyinaa ɛno nti nam so ama wɔn awie akɔ submit wɔn report no bibia ama mpanifoɔ ama sisi ane deɛ wɔn ahyɛ nhwehwɛmu ase na Ghana ɛba yɛmmra mpanifoɔ ɛda no ɔpanin ɔda no ankasa ɛyɛ Dr Dominic Ayine na ɛnɛ da yi wabrifi yɛn nsɛntwerɛfoɔ akyerɛm sɛ nkrɔfoɔ adi ɔman no ya wɔ nkrɔfoɔ adi ɔman no ha wadi aborɔ ɛno nti no wɔ make sure sɛ wɔ brifi yɛn wɔn a abɔ yɛ korɔ no wɔn a adi sika nyinaa no wɔtete wɔn nyinaa to akyerɛ yɛn na afei baabi a wɔn ayi ko akɔdu no nso ɛno nso wɔde ato anim na no ɛna nsɛntwerɛni ɛkɔbisa sɛ yɛanya ne nteɛ sɛ wɔn a wɔn din anaa wɔn ho ɛbɔn saa nsɛm mu no wɔn akyerɛ sɛ in fact wɔn bɛ frustrate mu papaapa no sɛ a onya akɔna asɛm wɔ kan kura wɔn nyaa wɔn tena wama wɔtwe no wɔsere no kura na ɔno kita fat ne kita bibia ɛno na ogyina so na wɔde ahwɛ na atɛnkyerene apie na saa nsɛm a wɔn ka da yɛbɛ frustrate ni ade na no kwan bɛn so na wɔfa no obi wɔ kwan bi obetumi afa so frustrate na ɔno wɔn abɔnten na ɔmɛka.
Okay, and I'm keenly aware of what defense lawyers can do. Okay, I was for many years a defense lawyer myself, so I know their tricks. All right, if you remember the famous Tagore case, I was the one who freed Tagore together with Kisi Ajabing from prison. So I know what to look for, what defense lawyers look for in, any prosecution. If you picked up, thank you for the intelligence that you have picked up, that they say that they and their lawyers will frustrate me. I have plans in place to avoid frustration. Okay? I know what I am doing. And together with my able deputy, we will make sure that the people of this country, because if they frustrate me, they are frustrating the people of this country. And as one of the questioners, said, 548 million is a lot of money. In fact, the president is thinking of a Accra-Kumasi expressway that will make it possible for, commuters to travel within, an hour to Kumasi. That 548 million, in my estimation, could have built that expressway. So yes, it is a lot of money, and that is why we are going to take the prosecution really very seriously. Look, if you have had 8 million Ghana cedis lodged into your account from public funds, and you say you frustrate the prosecutor, how are you going to do that? Supposing he didn't know, that's a different matter altogether. Or if you have your companies and public monies are flowing through your companies, and you cannot tell the prosecutor why those monies were being transferred to your company and they were being used for private purposes, and you say you frustrate the prosecutor, well, they should come with all the technicalities in the world. We are waiting for them. We're waiting for them in the courtroom. This is going to be a different ball game altogether. I'm not bragging, but it's going to be a different ball game altogether. So we will do our best, and thereafter, as for recovery, is an integral part of our strategy. Recovery is an integral part of our strategy. All right. The meaning of oral is Operation Recover All Loot. And so once we institute a prosecution in the context of oral, recovery is an integral part of it. We are not going to, leave any stone unturned. Can we recover everything? We may not be able to recover everything, but we will certainly recover funds for this republic and for public use.
Gana News TV so we ding and Nana's fan. Send in the can about here. I was subscribing, watch a video at the amame. I can also say, send this curfew man on about my gun and one or more than download the lamp file never send it. Rate no, come up, and my own work be brave. Sanso, and I said download the first time one on Bemau $10 at their show. And I say, your first transaction never $100 and also on Bemodian no mamma $20 at their show. And we'll meet me that all time and will be cry as a chedia when I could be appreciated. Who Europe, who America, with me as in this guy, after Lemfi, so they are Africa. So I'm young and go to Dr. Dominic Ayine. I want and a year Attorney General.
Form a major plank of the oral report. My office is extremely grateful to the Fourth Estate for the excellent foundational work that they did. In my last press briefing held on March 24, 2025, I made clear that investigations into the National Service Scandal were almost concluded and that I will return with a detailed update on the investigations and the decision of my office regarding criminal charges against all persons suspected to have been involved in the looting of state resources. I am here today, ladies and gentlemen, my fellow countrymen and women, to announce that I have received the dockets compiled by diligent and hardworking investigators at the National Intelligence Bureau, popularly known as NIB, formerly BNI. The dockets were compiled under close supervision by my office, led by my able Deputy Attorney General, the Honorable Dr. Justice Shrimsai. Ladies and gentlemen, in or around February 2022, the management of the National Service Authority announced the introduction of a digitalization system which they claimed had saved the country some 112 million Ghana cedis. Through an app known as the Metric app, which allegedly combined facial recognition technology and identity card checks for verification and validation, the NSA, that is the National Service Authority, had blocked the enrollment of some 14,027 potential fraudsters on the scheme for the 2021-2022 service year. Despite these claims, when our current Minister of Finance, the Honorable Dr. KCL Atuforsen, ordered a head count of all National Service personnel as a precondition for the disbursement of arrears of allowances payable to the personnel dating back to August 2024, it was discovered that around 885 were ghost names. Our investigations have revealed a sprawling criminal enterprise whose network covers the entire country. This criminal enterprise was run by top-level executives of the National Service Authority and their accomplices in the private sector, known as vendors or service providers. This criminal enterprise resulted in the siphoning of huge sums of public funds into private pockets. In total, we can confirm from our evidence on the docket and from interrogations that a whopping 548,333,542 cedis and 65 pesos, that's how accurate we have been, has been lost to the state through the criminal enterprise. The breakdown is as follows. For the service year 2018 to 2019, 25 million 857,836 cedis and 16 pesos was lost through ghost names and through this criminal enterprise. In the 2019-2020 service year, 21,613,962 cedis and 24 pesos was lost. In the 2020-2021 service year, 55,670,584 cedis and 32 pesos was siphoned. In the 2022-2023 service year, this is the one that is more surprising and very shocking. 350,926,977 cedis and 7 pesos were lost. No, 12 pesos was lost to the state. And then for the 2023-2024 service year, 32,881,157 and 7 pesos was lost to the Republic. In total, as I stated, we lost over 548 million Ghana cedis to the criminal enterprise perpetrated by these executives, these directors and staff, as well as the service providers in the marketplace. The criminal enterprise that resulted in the loss of this colossal sum of money to the state. Very wonderful, questions. The question in relation to the member of parliament who was, in the center of the investigation. There are two members of parliament who were investigated in this scandal. One was a former chief executive officer, that is the Honorable Mustafa Yusuf. And so in his case, we basically had the evidence, relating to action that he had taken as the executive officer, and then we interrogated him. In the case of the famous A+, the investigation is still ongoing, and there are talks with him with respect to the role that he will play, either in respect of providing evidence against those who try to do what is alleged to have been done, or if at the end of the day no agreement is reached, then maybe he will have to stand trial. That is where we are with respect. So the investigations are ongoing. We haven't concluded with him yet. The investigators were supposed to go to Parliament and do the interrogation in Parliament, and at the last time that they made a request, they could not do the interrogation. Now, in terms of the timing of prosecution, there have been a number of developments that came in very late. So as late as yesterday in the evening, we met in the office with one of the principal actors who is offering, to provide us with evidence. In other words,
follow and watch Ghana News TV.
Warriors here, this is gungulum 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 gung. This is Ghana News TV. The time is 6 o'clock. Let me follow Ghana.
So send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha. You selem fight. Say ye fear wo pese won tono. You selem fight. E dan ya na say japade a wani da so a wo pese oto Africa ha no. You selem fight. So wo send this sika ama odofo e de aboa no wo Africa ha. You selem fight. Sanso e na say wo tie obi school fees ama no a. You selem fight. Nyenti a me kanfo lem fight ama one say utimi send this sika e fa lem fight so a e ma ni begu bank account me. Sanso e na timi begu mobile money account me. Eno achi nso no de bia lemfai e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo send a wo benya lemfai e secured na wo send this car enche na nipa wo send ama no ne nsa aka lemfai wo USA, Canada, UK, Italy, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Portugal and France. Wo de lemfai send this car untu ahwe bomodi a dey use me code NEWS news na say ene any day di kan o register o lemfai so a unya bonus sanso e na use chen so a yɛwɔ bonuses ahodoɔ a yɛde ma.
In other words, the person wants a non-prosecution, agreement. So we've asked that the lawyer she should go, and she and the lawyers should go and then bring the proposal for us to examine and then see what what can be done. Okay, so we are thinking that in the next 2 weeks we will be able to evaluate all of those proposals, including the fact that suspect James was rearrested. We'll have to look into the additional accounts, and then in the next 2 weeks we can deal with all those issues, and by the first week of July we should be filing charges against them. Now, someone asked, why the press briefing? This is a perennial question that I get all the time. The detractors of oral, that is those who do not want or are not enamored of the oral agenda, would usually say that this is persecution, a persecution of the suspects in the media, or prosecution of the suspects in the media. Now, the United States of America is one of the world's oldest democracy. Okay, and U.S. prosecutors, district attorneys, or even the Attorney General of the United States of America, when they conclude investigations, they brief the press on their findings. Sometimes they file the charges and come out of the courtroom to brief the press on the charges that have been filed. There is nothing absolutely wrong with this. So those who think that accounting to the people, if you look at the meaning of the word accountability simply means to explain one's actions. And so we have a duty to account to the people of this country. And so when I'm taking prosecutorial decisions, I need to account to the people of our country for the decisions that I take. So this is the whole essence of the exercise, and especially within the context of oral. We don't want any situation where we file charges and then we are being told that we have just decided to persecute people because of their political leanings. In all the press briefings that I have done, I have not mentioned or connected any political party to the actions of the people that I arrest and investigate. Okay, so the idea of doing this is not in order to make any political party look bad or any faction in our Ghanaian politics look bad. What we are doing is negotiation between the prosecutor and a person suspected of the commission of a crime, okay, that may turn out to achieve a number of objectives. Okay, so sometimes you drop the charges in exchange for the payment of a fine or a penalty. Sometimes you drop the charges so that that person will serve as a witness, and because the person was proximate to the commission of the crime, they will have information that is compelling enough to prove your charges for you. All right, so we do plea bargaining, and one of the outcomes of a plea bargain may be an NPA, that is a non-prosecution agreement. Okay, so that means that when we sign the non-prosecution agreement, we usually would immunize that person, grant that person indemnity from prosecution on certain conditions, or sometimes unconditionally. Okay, so it is guided by some considerations in the context of the prosecution itself or the criminal justice system. And by the way, in Ghana we have the Plea Bargain Act, which is an amendment to Act 30 that allows the Attorney General to enter into a plea deal. And by the way, just by way of public information, I have never, okay, and I want to repeat that, I have never approached anybody who is under prosecution now or who will be prosecuted for a plea deal. I've seen on social media allegations that I charge someone and then subsequently I'm asking the person for a plea deal. I'm always in my office quietly and they send people to come to me and then seek audience as to whether I am amenable to a plea deal. All right, and until such a time that we achieve the plea deal, we normally don't announce it to the public. So that is what a bargain is. And then the NPA can be a result, that is, the non-prosecution agreement can be the result of plea negotiations. The last question was with respect to what His Excellency, the President, said regarding the freezing of assets. What we froze were their bank accounts, all right? What we froze were their bank accounts, okay? But they may have other assets, such as houses, okay, apartment blocks, cars, and so on, okay? Those are the subject matter of the investigation that is taking place now. And as I said in the first, press conference, which was on the investigation, I said we normally do contemporaneous investigation of the crime, the criminal enterprise, as well as the, asset recovery. All right. So we are using the same approach now, but with this one, it is slower because of the fact that, if once we begin the prosecution, you will understand that they were doing mostly cash transactions. Okay, someone will go and take the cash from the bank and then go and give it to one of the directors or one of the staff, and so on and so on and so forth. Okay, so unlike the previous investigation where the documentary trail was very easy and then led us to certain assets that the person owned, because some of them were owned by his companies and so on. In this case, it is a bit different. That is why we have frozen the financial assets, that is the accounts, but we are still doing the investigation with respect to houses, cars, and so on. I hope that makes it very clear for the person who wanted to know the difference between what His Excellency said and then what I said in my press briefing. Thank you.
Please resume your seats. Excuse me. All right, so thank you very much for attending upon us.
I was going to make us say, oral, press briefing, about we a catchy dear, 24 trim said, Sika, my Ghana Sika. One more identifier, one more berry, not imagining in a fee. Ghana form penny for beer, said, my Ghana, dream, and I get as a share. Every year, no. Bet me, have more than what me NSS can. And I'm so make I say, one for being so, Eddie, evidence is a whole more. Na Papa could you to use or handing it direct over to the man in charge, not just say any can and not here and in the near brain say or we make sure say my Ghana ebe recover Jessica Nina. Nti KEA mmarahyɛbadwani
Now send this cafe amanoni aba Africa ha Usulemfi say ye fear wo pese wo ntono Usulemfi edan ya na say japade a wani da so a wo pese oto Africa ha no Usulemfi say wo send this sika ama odofo e de aboa no wo Africa ha Usulemfi sanso e na say wo tie obi school fees ama no a Usulemfi nyenti American full Lemfi ama one say utimi send this sika e fa Lemfi so a e ma ne begu bank account mu sanso e na timi begu mobile money account mu eno achi nso no de bia Lemfi e wo daily rate a e ma hu sika dodo a wo send a wo benya Lemfi e secured na wo send this car enche na nipa wo send ama no ne nsaka Lemfi wo USA, Canada, UK, Italy, Germany, Ireland, Netherlands, Spain, Belgium, Portugal and France. What the Lemfi send this car untu ahwe bomodi an dey use me code NEWS news na say any day they can register or Lemfi so a unya bonus sanso and use chance so a ye wo bonuses ahodo a ye de ma
Menu makwekwe sa sempa kania. Semenam na meti asempa na mamo amane a na ma no keka me. Anyambia what ANS Trading Agency Limited nka. Sa wo ka say door to door for no de na watwa. Esanse obi ene wa wo say wo was door to door business nim. Wo nneoma wo UK a wo de kɔ Ghana. Ana say Germany a wo de kɔ Ghana. 3 to 5 weeks ebekwa kodu nipa ne pono no say try. Na de mo demonstration wo say adwuma de we mu ne say wo mo bo no. E da form say boko. ANS Trading Agency Limited. Ewo air freight special service. And nneoma no ye de befa plane. Entintempa na akwa kodu. Obetima for South Korea we also the nneoma free Ghana, akwa UK and Germany. FAGG them which na also agina ye na men drop bomb. ANS Trading Agency Limited pe and a 40 footer any 20 footer container. Ye for UK ediko Ghana and Germany ediko Ghana. Omo manuoma yemre import o export o them there for you. Omo Ghana na money 0249 170 423. UK has over free 0790 802 7527. Germany 09173 771 2733. Ubenya ANS Trading Agency Limited. Our West Croydon ANS Trading Agency Limited. Quantum Brantem. Wana bebo ya baso. Maybe next time in your fill up from the bebro.